Good evening, everybody. This is we call it a Pesach Practicum because I don't know, because we give guidelines and sort of the best practices, best practice. I feel like my goal is to reduce people's stress around Pesach and to tell you what really has to be done and not what people do that doesn't actually have to be done, but also how to kasher things if you need them, and basically how to move your home from where it is today to where it has to be when Pesach starts. So I'd love for people to put in any questions or thoughts or what you would like to get out of this so that I can be as helpful as possible. And I'm mostly going to use my Kashering guideline document, which I worked on a lot, and it's really good. So I suggest that we have that in our. We offer so many things, so that's one of them. It's an 8-page document, and we're going to go through that. But I'd love to hear what do people think? Like, if somebody could give me a couple of sentences, what does it mean to you to move the house to be Pesachdik? I'd love to hear that. If anybody is willing to step into the fray, or what you're worried about, or what you think you don't know, anything.
I
Robert.
think okay.
Remove all chametz.
Okay. That's it? Remove all chametz, we're done? I'm asking.
No, must be other things.
There must be other things. Janet, what do you want to
Yeah.
add to that?
Yeah, I have a dishwasher question because I've never had one in my life. So it's never come up.
Ooh, nice. I don't have one. Can I borrow yours?
Okay.
Okay, we'll get to a dishwasher. Great. It's going to be in our list, so that's terrific. Yep. Yeah, Robert, what? Did you want to add something? Robert? No.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's correct that the first step is going to be removing all chametz. Absolutely. But to go from removing all chametz to where we get to on Pesach night, there's more to it because we have a whole array of stuff in our kitchen that needs to be dealt with. Everybody with me on that? And that's because the utensils that we use in our kitchen are not ready for Pesach. They've been absorbing chametz all year. So first of all, we're going to have a class on chametz, which is Thursday night, on what constitutes actual chametz. We're just going to call it chametz for tonight. Everybody good with that? And then on Thursday, we'll spend time going over what is real chametz, what is something called kitnios, and what you have to sell, what you don't, how you get rid of it. Okay. So let's start with the basics. Let's start with everything outside the kitchen. And when I say kitchen, I mean that includes pantry and freezer, okay? Just say everything that's outside your kitchen. What do you have to do for Pesach? That's the first question. Any thoughts about that?
To clean everything.
Well, what does that mean you have to clean everything? I mean, it's cleaned. I mean, we keep our apartments clean. So what do you mean by cleaning?
Well, first of all, we have to get rid of everything that is um, not Passover, kosher for Passover.
Right, so that's chametz. So, well, that's not exactly true that we have to get rid of everything that is not kosher for Passover. I want to make that clear. We don't have
Well,
to get rid of that.
put it away and close with the tape.
Right, although there are things that are like you have a brand new bag of sugar, for example, you don't have to get rid of it. But we'll talk about that on Thursday night. But what do you have to do, right? Robert gave us the basics. You have to get rid of chametz, whatever that is. So everything outside the kitchen, everything outside your freezer, everything outside your pantry, what items do you think you have to go through? Any thoughts? Just be logical. Just be logical.
Shelves, drawers.
Drawers. Well, what drawers? Like in your bedroom, do you have food in your bedroom?
No, but like your purses, your coats that you could put
Excellent. Right. So
pantry.
some people might have food. Most people, if you keep food next to your bed, you obviously have to open, I mean, at least you have to open the drawer and look inside. That would be the basic, I would say. But my dresser that has my clothing, like shirts, underwear, socks, I don't keep food in there. So I do not plan on going through that. I just want to make that clear what we don't have to do. But as Mariana said, we have to go through things that have pockets, right? Somebody could stick a granola bar. A granola bar is real chametz because it probably has wheat or oats in it, which are real chametz. We're not going into what is real chametz, but it could be. So what do you need to go through? You need to go through pockets of your coats. I guess any pockets of your clothing that you might have dumped, by mistake or left something in there. And you have to go through your bags, pocketbook, briefcase, knapsacks. Does all of that make sense? What else might you have to go through if you have anything else? Again, other than the kitchen.
I was reading it and it said books. Like, why does it say books?
So, some people say when you read books, you might eat and have a little crumb fall in it. I don't go through books. Like going
Yeah,
through
there are
books
a
is
lot
a
of books.
tremendous, I cannot tell you how many hours and hours, and you're not going to find I would say it would be unusual to find like a real piece of chametz that's edible. That would be really unusual. So I want to say that, okay, one second. Somebody is asking, why do you need to know that this should be, one second. Say direct. Just somebody asked. Okay. So people have gone through books, and Sfarim, I say, I don't think you need it. Does anybody think they have like a bite-sized piece of food in their books? That would be really unusual. Even if you ate over a book and there were some crumbs in there, like that's a teeny, you're not going to eat it. Take it out of the spine of the book. So let's put books aside. So no book, not books, unless I don't know, you had a kid who ate over all their books. I guess it's possible. So not books. So what? Yes, we said briefcases, purses, pockets, coats. I think coat pockets would be good. And you do want to clean it once, right? You want to, get under the furniture because you could actually have a cookie or a granola. Can I tell you something? I have to tell you a funny story. I think on Pesach or before Pesach, my parents had downstairs, it was very, very tall, the basement. Hold on one second. We're not up to that, Sabrina. That's I think on the food one. But you know what? We'll talk about that as well. So there were very, very tall shelves. Like I couldn't even reach those shelves. And they found on the very, very, like one of the top shelves, they found a cookie. And my mother they had some sort of cocktail party for visiting Russian scientists. My father was a scientist. And they realized a very tall person must have put a cookie there. Either forgot about it or didn't like it. Although everybody loves my mother's cookies, so I'm not exactly sure how that happened. But they said there was actually real chametz there. Like that was real chametz. And finding that on Pesach, I mean, if it happens, it happens. You don't do it on purpose. But what do you need to do for that not to happen? You need to go around and look, right? You need to check it. Open the drawer, open the bag. Spend an hour, 2 hours, whatever you need. Does it include washing your windows? This is not a trick
No,
question. Does it
no.
include, in Israel is the thing, the sayedet akirot, to whitewash your walls? Because they wanted to freshen it up for Pesach, which is great. But if you add that to everything you do for Pesach, that's exhausting. This idea of spring cleaning has nothing to do with chametz. I just want to know if everybody understands that sentence. Does everybody understand that
Yeah.
sentence? That spring cleaning has nothing to do with chametz. Joan, you got that? Joan, are you with me on that? I need you to give me a thumbs up. Or not.
Spring cleaning has nothing to do with comments.
The spring cleaning has nothing to do with chametz. I want to know if you understand that question, that sentence.
Don't ask me. Ask Moshe.
No, I want to ask you 100%. What's spring cleaning?
I don't do
It's
spring cleaning. So.
spring cleaning. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I don't do spring cleaning either. But spring cleaning means freshening up your clothing, changing the closets. I don't know, lining your. I don't know what people do with spring cleaning. Opening your windows and washing all the windows from the dust of the winter. Do you think, Joan, that has anything to do with cleaning for chametz for Pesach?
I wouldn't think so.
Exactly. Use your head. It's logical. It has nothing to do with it. I just want to move people away from over cleaning things that have nothing to do with chametz. So everything outside the kitchen, by the way, this includes if you have a storage area. I don't know if people bring food into storage areas, but if you happen to have one, you have to check that as well. Most people don't because of mice, but if you have an office, You also have to check that because it's in your reshut. You own it, so you have to check it. Everybody good with that? Does everybody understand until now what you have to check outside your kitchen, your pantry, and your fridge and freezer?
Your car.
Thank you. Your car. Excellent. Yes, your car must be checked. Perfect. Perfect. Most people get it cleaned or they clean it themselves, but easier to get it cleaned. With the vacuum cleaner is good because you get under the seats. I mean, you find things, right? It's been a whole year since last year. Okay, everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay, questions till now? So now Sabrina's asking about selling chametz. So let's go to that question. That's a great next step. Now let's focus on food. Anybody have questions outside the kitchen? Kitchen for me means anything having to do with food. Okay, okay. Obviously, your dining room you'll also clean, right? You'll sweep the floor.
I'm getting it for you. Just a minute.
Oh wait, let me put you on mute, Joan. So right, your dining room does it? I mean, once you clean the table and clean the floor and maybe brush your chairs, do you have to do anything else? No, because you'll see if there's a piece of food there. Everybody, does that make sense to people? Okay, that's why I want you to keep it like simple. Okay. Now, my mother, we had a house, and she would say when the rooms were clean for Pesach, she would mark them. It's like, no chametz in there, no chametz, which makes sense when you have children, right? Don't bring, not that we were, by the way, allowed to bring chametz because we weren't allowed to bring food into our bedrooms, but theoretically, we only ate in the kitchen and the dining room. We never ate anywhere else. But theoretically, you could bring your book bag or something with chametz.
Giving in.
Joan, I just want to keep you on mute so we don't hear the
I'm so
conversation.
sorry.
It's okay. No problem. Okay. So now let's focus. If I can't get the breadcrumbs. Okay, Sabrina, hold on. First of all, nobody's going to be punished for anything here. Let's get rid of that notion as well. Right? You do your best. God understands. I don't want anybody to think they're going to HELL or something if there's a crumb somewhere. You do the best you can. But let's get there. The next thing is, what do you actually have to do with chametz? So you have to either finish it, like eat it, right? Or you can give it away, right? And people give to the friendly fridge if you wish to. Or you can, one second, you can burn it, like, if you had two little pieces of bread, you could theoretically get rid of it in the garbage dump or something if you wanted. Or you can sell it. Are people familiar with selling chametz? Yes? No? Anybody? Give me thumbs up, thumbs down. Does somebody have a question about selling chametz? Nobody has a question. Aliza. Oh, thank you, Aliza. So I'll just give you that you can find a link on the Bayit Pesach page, and you can fill in online. You can fill in that you can sell your chametz. Great, Sabrina. Perfect, as you always do. Great. Everybody follow Sabrina's lead that you should. Thebayit.org/Pesach is going to get you to anything you need to know about Pesach. So what happens is that a contract is prepared that's sold to a non-Jew because Jews are not allowed to own chametz. You're not allowed to own it. So if you have chametz, what do? Well, you don't leave it in the pantry where you can open the door and see it, right? You don't leave, I don't know, a box of Dunkin' Donuts in your freezer so you can open it. You're not supposed to see it. You're not supposed to own it. So what do? You do what Sabrina said. You aggregate it. You put it together. You put it in something that you can't see, like a paper, bag, or in your freezer. You completely put it. I would say take a dark garbage bag so you wouldn't see what's in it, and you mark it chametz. And when you sell your chametz, you say, I have chametz in my freezer. I have chametz in my pantry. Probably not in your refrigerator because you don't want to take a chance that you'll use it, or you might need more room in your fridge. Everybody with me on that? Okay? But you have to do one of those things. You have to either sell it or get rid of it, eat it, give it away, throw it away.
Just destroy it by making it like putting chemicals on it.
Yeah, that's also good. You could spray it with bleach. But I mean, who's going to take like a whole loaf of bread and spray it with bleach? Right? You're not going to do that, or a package of pasta. So if you want to sell it, or give it away, right? Don't just ruin food. We don't want to do that either. Does that make sense, Robert?
Yeah, we'll bring it to the morning when we burn our chametz.
Well, we're not up to that. hold on one second. You're not going to bring bags and bags of chametz, right? You're talking about a little bit that you bring, like a symbolic amount. Okay, everybody with me? Are we good?
Yeah.
But that's an option, what Robert said. But that I just wouldn't, you bring a little bit, what you did the bidika, the searching for chametz, which we didn't get up to. So now what do you do with the actual items in your kitchen? We've already taken all the chametz out. By the way, I happen to have gone through my freezer, felt so good. I have a shelf of things that are kosher for Pesach. I'm gluten-free, so it's a little easier for me. We have a shelf of things that have to be sold. And then we have a shelf of things that that are not kosher lepesach because they're kidneyot or whatever reason, but they don't have to be sold. So I feel so good that I did one thing in my apartment. One thing is ready for Pesach, my freezer. That feels really good. Anytime you do one thing, it feels amazing. Okay, so now what do we do? Can we use our pots and pans and plates and cups and silverware? Can we use the ones we use during the year? Who knows the answer to that? So
No.
I want to say yes and no. Okay. Most things we cannot, thank you, Sabrina. Most things you cannot use unless possibly you could kosher them. But there's no way to kosher dishes. So dishes, you have to get a whole new set. There is a way to kosher silverware. So you could theoretically use your silverware from every day. I would say, does that make sense? When I say something that doesn't make sense to you, please ask me. You too, Joan. Even if I don't think Joan, you with us? If there's something you don't understand, please ask, because this is not meant to be, gibberish for people. It's supposed to make sense. So if you have silverware, most people get doubles of everything for Pesach. You have a nice set of dishes for meat. You have a nice set of dishes for dairy, or a set of dishes, whether it's nice or not is your choice. Somebody who's vegetarian or vegan might have one set of dishes, right? Because they don't need for meat. They have a whole new set of silverware usually. They might have glasses that are new, have pots. But now I want to divide our kitchen utensils into things that can be kosher. Does that make sense when I say the word koshered? Made kosher for Pesach, and those that cannot be, okay? I'm slowly trying to hone in on what we have to do. We've already cleaned chametz, right? Everybody with me on that? We cleaned our refrigerator, we cleaned things. But now what do we do with all those utensils? Let me just look at the chat. I see there's a lot of chats. Oh, okay, fine, we're good. I'm sorry, I want to go back to Sabrina. Did you get an answer to your question? I said that you can sell the pita in the freezer, but you have to put it in a closed bag. Okay, and you have to mark on your form that that it's in your freezer. So let's think of your kitchen. Imagine your kitchen. Everything is very clean. The drawers are clean, the outside is clean, the countertop is clean, but you have all these, what do they call appliances, right? So you need your refrigerator, you need your stove, you need your oven, you need your microwave. What else do you need?
Coffee machine.
Well, washing machine doesn't wash. Isn't
Coffee machine.
Wash what machine?
Coffee.
Oh, coffee machine. Sorry, I said washing machine. Your Keurig, great. Your Keurig, great. Everybody think blender, all those things.
Oven.
Everything and bread should be sold. What? What is everything and bread? I don't know what that means. Anything that's chametz should be sold. I'm not sure what you mean by everything and bread, Sabrina. Anything that is chametz. Come back on Thursday to find out what you have to sell. But can bread be sold? Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody asked if bread can be sold. Oh, Michael, you didn't hear that. You might have missed that. Real chametz can be sold. Absolutely. Our contracts are set up that way that you can sell real chametz. You can sell whatever the difference is, something that is some chametz.
Cheerios, cereal.
Yeah, real chametz. Yeah, that's real chametz. Cheerios, bread, crackers, pasta, cookies. Yeah, all of that is what?
Wait, we're on.
Yeah. What about shares in a company that makes chametz?
So that has nothing to do with kashering and cleaning your house, Moshe. So you're going to have to find another way to ask that question. But not now, because we don't have time to deal with that. We are talking about kashering and cleaning your home. But I'm not saying it's a bad question. I just can't deal with it right this
Did it
minute.
on purpose.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. So everybody with me? Where we are, we're coming to the kitchen, right? So remember, so let's start. Let's say your freezer's outside the kitchen, okay? So you emptied your freezer, you cleaned it, you wiped it, you do the best you can to get the crumbs out, and then you close the bag, not a see-through bag, not transparent. You want a bag that you cannot see through. You put all your chametz in there, you close it up, and you mark it chametz, and you sell it. Everybody with me on that? Or you give it away, and then you don't have it. Now, your freezer is now automatically kosher for Pesach. Does that make sense to people? Because no cooking was done. It just had food in it that was sitting on the shelf. So it didn't, your freezer cannot turn chametz stick because you need heat, cooking to make something chametz stick. I want to make sure that people understand that. You need to cook something to make it chametz, or something else, an onion or something else. Okay. So your freezer is inherently not chametz stick, but you need to clean out any crumbs, right? Because you can't have chametz in it. Please ask questions if something isn't clear. Okay, so your freezer is now Pesach-dik. Everybody with me? You have a shelf or a drawer that's marked chametz. It's closed. It's not transparent. The rest of the shelves are wiped down. You can use it now for Pesach. It is officially Pesach-dik. Let's look at your refrigerator now. Refrigerator, freezer. Hi, Stephen. So your refrigerator, freezer is same as the freezer, basically, except it's a little more complicated because probably has more crumbs and more spills. So that's a little more complicated to clean just because it takes more time to clean. But is it inherently chametz-dik or Pesach-dik? No, because nothing was cooked in it. You have to cook something like in a pot. If you had a pot that you just put raw, just bread in it, but you never cooked anything, it didn't turn chametz-dik. You have to clean it out. But if you cooked oatmeal in it, it becomes chametz-dik. So your refrigerator, do you ever cook anything on the shelf?
No.
No. Now, it used to be that people covered their shelves of the refrigerator. It is not recommended in modern refrigerators, and there is no need to cover your shelf. Because when you clean it and you wipe it down, that's it, you're done. I want to see some nods. Okay, thank you. Something. So I know that makes sense to people. No covering your shelves, not in the freezer, not in the refrigerator. It's not good for the appliance, and there's no need. But you do have to take everything out, wipe everything down. I mean, some people clean all the time when there are spills. Not everybody does that. And you have to take out the vegetable drawers. You have to take everything out. Now, makes so much sense. Great. Thank you, Elisa. Love that. I'm trying to share it with you in a way that'll make sense. You'll still have access to our Kashering document, but I want it to make sense to you so that you won't feel thrown for a loop. You can always ask questions. We have a WhatsApp group. You can ask questions as much as you need after you look at our files, because our files have a lot of information in them. Like, wait, I forgot how to kasher X. Well, look at our file. If it's not clear, let me know. But you might find the answer there. So are we good with the refrigerator? You'll take everything out. You look at every bottle, everything. Is it kosher for Pesach? Is it not? Is it open? And then you'll have to decide if you're keeping it, if you're throwing it out. Is it chametz? Is it kitniot, which you don't have to sell? We haven't talked about what that is. You don't need to put, I don't know what a shelf liner is. That's your choice. If it's clean, great. I don't know what a shelf liner is. It's not cooked food, but if it's clean and it doesn't have any crumbs on it, then you can use it. You don't have to replace it. You can. Okay. So, some people say, well, once a year I replace it, so I'll just do it for Pesach. That's just a good time to do it if you're going to replace it once a year. That's up to you, Sabrina. Okay. Juliet, do you have a question?
Yes. The meat that we have like in the fridge is not kosher for Passover. We can just like put it in different bags and leave it in there, or we have to.
So can you come back on Thursday and ask me about food?
Okay.
I just don't have time. I want to go to all the kashering. There isn't a very easy answer to that, but I don't want to go into it now. Okay? Because that'll be about what food is kosher Pesach, what isn't kosher Pesach. We'll talk about it. But whatever is chametz, which, by the way, think for a second, is meat chametz? Just think in your own head.
No, I know. It's
So already you know you don't have to sell it. The question is only can you use it?
oh,
Okay. Okay. So we're good. So then you have to take things out. So some things that are like open bottles of sauces and stuff in your fridge, they can often stay outside for a week and nothing will happen to them. Like you'll put them away in a box. Like we make boxes under the bed, New York apartment, there isn't a lot of place to put things. You might not want to throw away everything in your fridge. I mean, some people throw everything away in their fridge that's open. That's their choice. But if you don't want to, and it's not chametz or it is chametz, you can close it and put it away. Some things can withstand being out of the fridge for a week. Okay? Everybody keep that in mind. Even if it says refrigerator after opening, like ketchup can stay outside and, things like that. Because ketchup has to be kosher Pesach because it has corn syrup in it probably or something like that. Also, when there's foods that are left out during the year and you're not careful that chametz doesn't come near them, we don't like to reuse them. But that we'll talk about on Thursday. So is everybody clear what you have to do for your refrigerator? Any questions? Yes. Okay. I love it. Excellent. Let's talk about dishes. So dishes cannot be kosher. You cannot kosher things made of porcelain or things like that. Glass, maybe. Most people don't have glass dishes. There's something else. So dishes basically have to be put away. But there is a way to kosher things like pots and silverware. And I'm going to open my file now to show you them. Okay. Or do you want me to stay with appliances? Doesn't matter. They're all in the file. Yeah. What? Stay with appliances. Okay. Wait, let me 1 second.
I have a question about dishwasher.
We're getting there. Rega motek. Okay.
Good.
It's
But
fine.
not-
No. And people, because I might not see you on the Zoom when I'm sharing, please interrupt me if you have a question, okay? All right, let's start from the top. This is a terrific file. Rabbi Fox and I really spent a long time over multiple years perfecting it. We're always happy to make it better, but it has so much information very clearly explained. So again, what did we say? You can't use chametz products. You can't use dishes and utensils that have been used with chametz. And that's why you need an additional set of dishes for Pesach. And you must store them out of sight. Now, some people think you have to sell your dishes and your pots that you're not using. What reason would you have not to do that? Well, if you sell it to a non-Jew, you have to tovel them again afterwards. Can you imagine the whole community has to go and immerse them in a mikveh? And you're not using them. And there's no chametz inherently on them. You're not going to eat them on Pesach even if you saw them. We don't sell our silverware, our pots, and our dishes. We don't sell them. Is that clear? I want to make that really clear. Okay, great. But you just need to sell the food. Just the food. Okay, great. And again, this is something that Robert said. When cleaning any area that may have had chametz, make sure to use some type of cleaning agent so that it's really clean, so that you've ruined any piece, right? If you found a crumb that chlorine or some sort of cleaning agent has been used on it, you would never eat it. So then it becomes inedible, and that's like you got rid of it. All right? We're now going to go through different kashering processes. There's something called hag'ala, boiling, hag'ala. The theory of this process is just as chametz enters the vessel or utensil, so it will leave. Meaning if you, so let me just explain that. If you cook pasta in a pot, you're using boiling water, correct? Most foods have some sort of liquid, most of them. So you're using boiling water, the same way that boiling water helps the chametz get absorbed in the walls of the utensil, so you can use boiling water for it to leave. Do you understand what I'm saying? The same way chametz goes into something, it can leave, but only things like metal. Not everything is, we just don't, there's no way to do ceramic or things like that. China, if you have any questions about that separately, you can ask me, but this is a general rule. So what do? Let me explain what do you do, and then we'll read it inside. So for example, a pot or silverware made of metal, yeah? Good. And for some reason, you don't have enough pots or Pesach, and you want to kosher your silverware or your pot. So you can, what you need to do is for 24 hours, you have to not use it. And after 24 hours, you boil a big, big, big pot of water. And while it's on a rolling boil, you actually dunk the pot or the utensils in for a few seconds. And what we say is that during that time, the chametz leaves and gets renewed. And then you take it out, you run it under cold water, and it's reset to zero, as if you just bought it in the store. It can be Pesach, it can be chametz, it can be parv, it can be meat, it can be dairy. You can do whatever you want with it. It's now reset to zero. And you don't even have to put all the pot in at one time. You can do like part of the pot and then the handle. Same thing with the cover. Everybody understands the idea of Hagalah. It only works on things that is done with in a way that you can boil it to get it out, as opposed to like frying. Frying, you can't get rid of it by immersing it in boiling water. So let's see what kinds of things you can kasher that way. Okay. So here, if you look at this file, you'll see all the information about how to do it. It'll give you all the little, all the details that I don't have to go through it because you'll see it in the file. So what things can be done that way? Let me look. Something like melamine plates. These are hard plastic, often used for children. You could kasher them through Hagalah because they can withstand. If you put a china plate into a pot of boiling water, what do you think will happen to it?
Yeah.
It'll break.
Yeah.
That's what you can't. It doesn't withstand that. You can't kasher it that way. But you could do it with hard plastic storage containers, melamine plates, silverware and small cookware, Cutco knives. Once you clean them, once cleaned, can be kashered through Hagalah. One second. Smaller pots that fit into bigger pots. Those are the kinds of things that can be kashered. Let me just see if there's anything else that can be kashered that way. Not frying pans. Not exact. Refrigerator, freezer. We already spoke about that. Stovetop, electric stovetop. I think that's pretty much it for Hagalah, except for the microwave. We're going to get to the microwave. What happens if you have a very large pot or kettle, but you can't fit it into another one? Now, in Israel, by the way, they have huge, huge, huge pots at the Rabbanut in every city, and there's 1 or 2 days set aside. You can come and any of your pots would fit in it. And that's really convenient because they do it for you if you need it. A lot of people have doubles, but when you have a small apartment, you don't have room for doubles. So larger pots and kettles, you actually have to fill them with water and have them boil, boil, boil until it overflows completely. Okay? Once it forces over the rim, and then you don't have to use a heated stone, but some people do. Covering the pot with a cover will also make it boil over. But what happens sometimes? It'll cause a fire to go out, right? So you have to be very careful and turn off the gas. So you have to be very careful when you do Hagalah. But again, if you have doubles of everything for Pesach, you don't need to kasher it. Now, I have a question for you. Remember what I told you, that you need something like heat, like cooking, or maybe onions, which is sharp. You know how you cut something, or if a cutting board wasn't cleaned well and it had onion, right, that taste remains. Everybody with me on that? So
Yeah.
things that are sharp, like garlic or onion or scallions or anything, turnip or anything else that's sharp. So that's another way to transfer taste. But let's just start with heat, like with the pot. Wait, what was I going to ask? Now I can't remember what I was going to say about it. You have a pot, Hagalah. I don't know. It went out of my head what I was going to say. Yeah, Moshe.
The pot that you use for Hagala, does that become kosher Passover or it doesn't?
So that's a great question. It doesn't unless it boiled over. Some people say you have to use a Pesach pot. Some people say, wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have to kasher it. Let me look. Hold on one second. It's a great question. We allow a large pot. No, some people have a custom fit. Yeah, some people. Yeah. So the CRC does not require the large vessel to be a Pesach pot, but it also doesn't get kashered for Pesach, but it also has to rest for 24 hours before. So it depends on what you do. The way for it to be, the problem is, here's the problem, Moshe. If you want to use a Pesach pot, you have to first kasher your stove top. So it's a little easier to do a chametz pot because usually people don't kasher their stovetop, which we haven't talked about yet, until close to Pesach. So there's who to rely on that you can use a chametz stick pot or a Pesach stick pot, but the big pot does not automatically become kashered. Why? Because you haven't immersed it. The only way for it to become Pesach stick is if it overflows with boiling water. So if you want to do that first, that's fine. A little tricky. So we usually do
Sounds like
chametz.
a paraduma, when one person sprinkles the ashes.
Yeah, no, that's great Torah, but that's confusing to people. Not everybody even knows what a paraduma is, but I appreciate that. But it does not make it tameh, and it doesn't make it not kosher. It just doesn't kosher it. Okay, so we were good with Hagala, and I don't know why I'm blanking. Oh, I know what I was going to ask. Okay, let's say you have a Kiddush cup. Does your Kiddush cup need to be kashered? What do you think?
No, because all the wine that you have is kosher, is always kosher.
All kosher wine and grape juice is always kosher lepesach. Did everybody notice that?
That's good. No.
So yeah, if you look at it, you'll see it's always kosher Pesach. So your Kiddush cup is inherently kosher for Pesach all year round, unless you use it for like hot oatmeal or something else chametz stick, but most people don't. So if you know you used your Kiddush cup just for, and I want to say more, like you have cold drinking glasses. If you only use them for cold, like water or, oh, I'm sorry, Janet, but do you want to know about the dishwasher? It's in the file. It's in the file. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Okay. So drinking glasses, if you just put cold drinks in them, what do you think? Do you think that you have to kasher them for Pesach?
No, probably. Because
No,
there's not
because
heat. We
there's
didn't.
no heat, there's no onions. I mean, unless you put onion that had like, you know, cookie crumbs, I don't know, something. But glass, it just can't absorb it. It's cold. Only hot things. Things that are cold all the time. So dishes, you don't know if you use something hot, but cold drinking glasses, you just have to clean them really well.
Yeah.
But if it's only same thing with like, let's say we have bottles, we save our bottles these pretty bottles, that blue bottles, we use them for water. They're inherently Pesachdik. We didn't do anything except put water in them. All we have to do is clean them. Why? Because maybe your hands on the outside touched or, So clean it, but you don't have to kasher it. Do you see the difference between cleaning and kashering, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that very clear? Okay, great. Let's go to another way of kasher. Remember we said the way that it absorbs chametz is the way it gets the chametz out. So let's say you have a frying pan or you have a stove top or oven. So that's done by heat, right? It's not done by water. You don't pour boiling water on your stovetop. You have a pot that you put it in. So then the question is, how do you kasher it? So you have to kasher it by actual, like literally burning off the chametz inside of it. And because you literally burn out the chametz, you don't have to wait 24 hours. For the boiling, the hagalah, you have to wait 24 hours, but not for when you burn something. So meaning, so we're going to go into and see what you need to do for stovetops and ovens. Okay, everybody with me?
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Oh wait, there's so many questions. If I buy some butter or sour cream. So Sabrina, you tell me. Oh yes, you're right about plastic food container bowl that's only used with cold food. Yes, but because it's used with food and maybe you're not sure and the food might have been, I would kasher it. Oh, food processor. It's a knife. A knife is another way. Oh, Michael, we just answered that. If you're using a Kiddush cup, I just answered that question. That's so funny. I didn't even know you wrote it in there. You got your answer then, right? Is Michael still on? Yes. So it's still on. Yeah. So I just answered your question about a Kiddush cup. The hard plastic food processor bowl, if you only used it for vegetables, the problem is once you have a knife sharp, onion sharp, or heat can transfer. So I have a friend who uses her food processor only for vegetables all year round. Only for vegetables. Not for making breadcrumbs, not for anything, not for dough. So hers is inherently kosher Pesach. But once you start using it where a knife is involved, you cannot count on it. And think about your food processor bowl. It's hard plastic. It's really hard to keep it clean. I don't recommend it unless you only used it for vegetables. Was that clear, Aliza? And does that make sense to you? Has to make sense to you also. Okay. If you buy butter or sour cream, can you put it in the fridge? So you tell me, Sabrina. You tell me the answer to that. Sabrina, you with me? If you buy butter or sour cream, what do you mean can you put it in the fridge? There's nothing in it you can't make your fridge chametz stick. You can't, like, you're not cooking anything. You're just putting something in the fridge in a bag. So, no, I understand that, but you just keep it in a bag. The chametz can't jump out of other containers into your bag, right? No Cheerios is going to jump into your closed bag. If you're talking about buying butter and sour cream ahead of time and keeping it in a bag in the refrigerator, I do recommend that because you don't want it to get touched by chametz, right? Your fridge is not but there's nothing in your, okay. So let's say you put into your refrigerator, I don't know, think of something chametz stick, barley soup, okay? That's chametz stick because barley is chametz. So if you keep your butter and your sour cream separate and in the back of the fridge closed, hopefully, put in a Ziploc and then nothing can fall on it and then nothing can get into it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I want it to make sense to you so you can figure it out on your own. Okay. What else was there? So, Aliza, you got your answer or you have a question?
I have a question.
Go for it.
I wanted to know about kashering it. So you're saying can't you kosher knives?
Yes, you can kasher knives. You can kasher the blade, but it's
But
tricky.
you were talking about hard plastic and koshering hard plastic things.
So there's a difference between koshering a plate that can be completely cleaned and koshering a food processor which might have crumbs that came in the cracks. Like a mixer inherently usually cannot be koshered because flour gets into all the crevices. So you have to think logically. Do you see what I mean, Aliza?
I do.
So if you made breadcrumbs in it, if you really can get it completely clean, then yeah, you could dip it in boiling water. It's an item that's used around a lot of chametz. So I hear what you're saying. If you think it's completely clean, then it's okay.
Yeah. I do think it is because I'm yes. Anyway, that was helpful.
No, but that's your answer. And the knives, no problem. That's easier to clean because they're simple. And you just dump it into boiling water.
That's right. So
for a few, right, you don't use it for 24 hours. You put it into boiling water, you take it, you do all the things.
Right.
I'm more comfortable with the knives than I am. Yeah. It's unusual for people to do that.
For the food processor.
Yeah, it's a little hard. If you really can clean it, and if you didn't use it for things like chametz, then I would say yes. But it's really hard to know. If you can eyeball it and say 100% every piece of chametz is out, and it's only for cold, then I'm not, it's possible. It's just not usually done because it can be tricky. And if we give a blanket yes to people, they may not be careful.
Right.
So I don't like giving a blanket yes. Okay, good.
I hear you. Thank you.
Sure. I had a Bosch mixer in Israel where all of the motor is completely, hey Lisa, is completely enclosed. Like there's no area for the flour to get in. So that I could use on Pesach because it was built in such a way that there was no problem. And the bowl had a cover to it that closed. It was amazing. So that was something theoretically I would just either buy a bowl or use the same bowl. And kasher was a metal bowl, by the way. But there were no crevices. Most mixers you can't get clean enough. It's impossible.
Is the concern for the bowl or is the concern for the part underneath it, the motor?
Everything could have chametz. So you have to look at each thing and say, is it possible to kasher this or not? So you have to look at each one. If you have a specific one, speak to me offline,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Of course. Pleasure. So I think so. My fridge, 1 second. Food products. Is there a prescribed time that the metal? A few seconds, but look in the file afterwards. I don't remember. It's like it has to be really immersed and boiling. Don't just dunk and take it out. A few seconds, 5. I don't know, something like that. No prescribed. Just has to really be in there. And it has to be so clean before. Cleaned, wait 24 hours. Okay. let's go back to our file. Everybody good with me so far? This is so that when you look at the file, it'll be like, oh, that makes sense. I get it. Okay, remember we said about glassware. Drinking glasses only used for cold drinks, can be used for Pesach. Glass or plastic pitchers and Kiddush cups only. Now, traditionally, most people got new, so a lot of it depends on your needs and what you've used. But as I said, my glass bottles that I only use for water, I just clean them and use them for Pesach. I'm going to show you what. Actually, I'm going to show you what it looks like, so you have an idea. Right? Are people familiar with this bottle? You buy sparkling water or something? So we kept it afterwards, but we only fill it with water. There's nothing that could be chametz stick about this. Do you understand? But I will wash it so that the outside, if people touch it, oh, that's nice. Thank you, Robert. Yes, the RJC and also at HIR, there'll be big pots that people can kasher. If you need to kasher, not everybody needs to kasher. A lot of people have double, but if you don't, okay. Back to here. So we went through that. Fired glass that goes in the oven or microwave can be kashered also with hagala, the boiling water. And you'll read exactly. We do not have the practice of kashering for Pesach oven tempered glass. So you'll actually read this. Okay? Plastic items, we said hard plastic storage containers can be kashered, but not single-use plastic because things that will melt you can't use. Silverware, small pots can all be kashered through hagala. Larger pots I explained. Okay. Anything which was used in a non-liquid cooking process, baking, roasting, broiling, frying without oil, can only be kashered through something called libun, or firing. These items require libun chazak, strong firing, which would burn up the chametz in the walls, or I guess it's called walls, the walls of the utensil. If you have a self-cleaning oven, you can place the broiler rack in the oven while it's on, and that functions as libun chazak. You can put it on for 40 minutes, but not all items like that can withstand the heat. When I ordered my oven in Israel, I ordered extra racks for Pesach. That made my life much easier. Frying pans. For frying pans, so you'll see if it's primarily used with oil, it can be kashered through light heating. After cleaning the pan, it should be right. You can't use the hagala, the boiling, because that's not how chametz got into the frying pan. It should be heated to a temperature where in an easily combustible manner will singe. If this breaks the pan, then you can use hagala. Again, it says here, but if the pan is primarily used with a spray, you can only do it with this light firing, and if it'll break the pan, just don't do it. Right? So look at all of the instructions here and follow them again as you need it. What things cannot be kashered? We said china, pottery, earthenware, porcelain, treated glass, Pyrex, Corningware, visions, decanters for storing whiskey. All of that cannot be. Right, let me go to refrigerator, freezer we spoke about. Stovetops. Okay. All parts of the stove and stovetop are well cleaned after cleaning thoroughly underneath. Drip pans inside the stovetop. Burners are kashered by turning them on high for 20 minutes. By the way, you have to be very careful. It created, first of all, the fire alarm could be set off, but it was so much heat in the kitchen that it can like melt your microwave if it's sitting on top. So we do 2 burners and then 2 burners. We don't do them all at the same time. You have to be very careful. But it's not so terrible, 20 minutes, like you can do it. A pot that has a handle that's not metal, it can withstand being in boiling water for a few seconds. We've done that many times. Not a problem. That was for Stephen. Okay. The grates of the stovetop can be flipped. Right, so you have to do 20 minutes. Do you understand you know what I mean by the top of the grates here?
Yeah.
Or you put them in the oven for 450 degrees. This is not when you put the oven on 500 or 550. We're just talking about the stovetop. This is a regular gas stovetop. Again, you don't do it by boiling because that's not the way chametz might have gotten absorbed into it. Electric, the burner of the stove should be turned on high for 35 to 40 minutes. Now, the problem with electric stovetops and glass and Corning and halogen and I don't know how you pronounce it, CERAN, electric or induction, all of that, you cannot really kasher it completely. So any food that falls on it, in general, any food that falls on your stovetop, gas, electric, doesn't matter, just don't use it on Pesach. It's really hard to really kasher that area around. So just don't, I mean, usually not that much falls, right? Sometimes a potato falls there, so throw it away because we're not sure if we got it kosher enough. Everybody follow me on that? That's just a good general rule for Pesach on the stovetop. But how people who have fancier, newer ones, so it says here to kasher the burner areas, turn on the elements so they come to a glow. But the rest of it you can't because using a blowtorch will ruin it. So just don't eat any food that spills on the stovetop. So much easier. Oven. You clean every part with the cleaning material, including the door. May be necessary to take apart some of the inner pieces to clean them. Visual inspection, always make sure, remove grease spots. If you have a self-cleaning oven, you can use that. Some people don't like using their self-cleaning oven because it can flip the switch. If you don't have self-cleaning, you run the oven on its highest setting for 40 minutes to kasher it. The steam cleaning setting in newer models cannot kasher the oven. Why? Because that's like hagala, boiling water. You can't kasher the oven with boiling water because that's not how chametz got into the walls. Chametz got into the walls through baking. Everybody with me on that? So the steam cleaning can be used to clean it, but then it doesn't kasher it. We've discussed the difference between kashering and cleaning. Okay. Convection microwave. Okay. Convection microwave. So these, they have to be well clean, run on the hottest setting. That's like cleaning an oven. Okay, this, you just have to read about the gender. I don't want to go into that right now. Microwave ovens. So microwave ovens are similar. They work by steam. They don't work like heat in your oven, like gas heat or something. So the way to kasher it is again through hagala. So look at how you kasher it, okay? Remember, we've done this already. This should be familiar to you. You clean the oven, you let it stand unused for 24 hours. You place a microwave-safe glass of water inside. You run the microwave for 7 to 10 minutes to boil the water in the cup, cause steam to fill the device, thereby kashering it. You wipe the surface, but you have to repeat the process after moving the cup. Why? Because the steam didn't reach under the cup, right? If I have a cup, the part under the cup didn't get kashered. So move the cup over, fill it again with water, and do it again. Now, here's the trickiest part of the microwave. You have to leave it for 24 hours. So I always tell people, put a big piece of masking tape, write the time and the day that you started your 24 hours. Because the biggest problem is people forget. They put something in the microwave and then, got to reset it to 24 hours. It happened to somebody who was used Erev Pesach. I said, I'm sorry, you don't have 24 hours left until Pesach. You can't kasher through boiling on Pesach, only through burning. Sorry. So I always recommend that tip. Put a nice big piece of masking tape, write the hour, 2:30. Great, 2:30 tomorrow, I can kasher it. You just have to live without your microwave for a while. That's when you realize how much you use it for those who have one. How we doing? We doing good? Remember, you have the file. You don't have to remember this because you have the file. But this is to make it easier when you read the file of what you need to do. Let's go back to convection microwave, oven we did. We did all this. Oven, we did that. Wait, did we miss anything on the way? Nope, we're good. There are pictures. That makes it easier to find things. Dishwashers. So Janet came on for the dishwasher, and that's the one thing I didn't get to. If you have a different custom for your dishwasher, that's fine. But from our point of view, you can kasher a dishwasher for Pesach this way. You inspect it for any pieces of food. You have to remove the trap or whatever you need. Clean everything. Wait 24 hours. Run it on its highest setting with soap. That's caustic. And you have to turn off sensor setting. I have no idea what that is, but because I don't even own a dishwasher. And then it's good to go. And it's now good for Pesach. All right? Very easy with the dishwasher. Super easy and great for anybody who's a dishwasher. Okay, back to next thing to clean. What about your sinks? Aha! So sinks are a similar problem as the microwave. You're allowed to use it, but not with heat. Like you could use, remember I said you have to wait with the pot? You could use it for cold during the 24 hours, but who uses a pot for cold? You use it to cook. You have to have no heat for 24 hours. So you have to have cold water in your sink for 24 hours before kashering it with boiling water. The biggest problem is to remember not to put on hot water. So what I do, my friend taught me, to put a plastic bag with a rubber band either on the hot faucet or on the faucet opening. And that reminds you, don't turn on the hot water. Because every time we turn on hot water for the sink, it gets reset the 24 hours. And you can only kosher a stainless steel sink. Everybody with me on that? Ceramic sinks, you have to buy an insert or do something else. Can't kosher it. Sorry. Everybody with me on the sink? And you pour boiling water. Pour boiling water on it. Okay. So here's what it says. Stainless steel sinks can be koshered by scrubbing with soap, leaving unused, or using only cold water 24 hours. Final step is pouring boiling water over every surface, etc., etc. You can read about that. Please use extra care when cleaning the trap, as the little holes can catch food, or buy a new one. They're not very expensive. And all right, I put the tip in here. Porcelain sinks cannot be koshered. They need a sink insert. Hot plate. It's not actually a koshering process, but allows you to use any type of year-round platter. You don't need a special one for Pesach. Clean well. Leave unused 24 hours on Pesach. Use double disposable tins around the food. Not recommended to cover your hot plate with tin foil, but you cannot. Don't eat food that fell on it. And these are metal blech, can be kosher by cleaning well, leaving unused 24 hours, placing on top of lit burners. I don't know why it has to be used for 24 hours. I'm going to check on that. If just cleaned well, do not eat any food that falls on it. Okay, next. Anything else? Warming drawers. This is a problem. I don't have a warming drawer, but I know about them. While you'll not find this option the standard Pesach guys, you can use it this way. Clean the drawer with something that renders any chametz inedible, like bleach or anything else caustic. Leave it unused 24 hours, run it on its highest setting, put down a layer of foil, and that becomes a double layer. Any foods that falls out could be treated as treif and not be eaten. Barbecue. So this tells you what to do with barbecue. The big problem is some briquettes use chametz paste as a binding agent. So you might need to use loose charcoal. Tells you how to clean it. Some people use disposable barbecues. Urns and electric kettles. Well, they only have water, guys, unless you use it to heat food directly on it. That could be a problem. If you put a piece of challah on it to heat it, it could be that it somehow got hot enough. I only put things double wrapped in tin foil on it, so it never goes directly on it. But if you only use it for water, just clean it well, run it through once, and it's good to go. It was just water. Everybody understand? Like, we don't need to go crazy. We need to just get rid of chametz and chametz stick things. If it didn't have chametz, don't go nuts. And you can buy nuts. Okay. Same thing with the kettle. Mixers. Oh, here you go. This is for you, Eliza. If a food processor blender was only used with cold, non-sharp foods, no onions, it need only be rinsed. Shh. But if there are grooves where food could fall, must be cleaned with soap until any food is unfit for dog's consumption. If the appliance may have been used with hot chametz or sharp foods like raw onion, which I certainly would use it that way, and chametz must be cleaned well. All parts may have touched food must be koshered by means of hagala. Does that help you, Eliza? Is Eliza still with it?
Yes, it helps.
There you go. So it was
It's
yeah. You see, I did a really good job preparing that file.
Actually, and I wanted to know how to get the file, how to access the file. Is it on the website?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Absolutely. I can put in the chat also, but it's on our
Ooh.
Pesach page. It's
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay.
1 second.
Perfect.
You know what? Let me get it for you, and then give me a second. Sabrina, what do you think? Sabrina asked the question. Do I need to clean? You always need to clean. That's it. The answer is always going to be yes. We always clean everything. I think Sabrina asked. Whoever asked that. You always need to clean. We need to get rid of chametz. First you clean. Anyway, things should be clean. Let's be honest, right? 1 second. I'm trying to find, of course, now I can't open it. Give me a minute. Maybe it's here. Here it is. Okay.
Thank you. That's
Of
great.
course, absolutely. This is a
feel
terrific
like-
document.
Every year it feels like it's the first time.
Some people say that, yes, but it's not really. I think you have muscle memory that you're not.
I do, but that's why I'm here, because I feel like, okay, now we're getting into it. I have to think about it again.
All right, now Stephen asked. Okay, there you go. That's the kashering, preparing kashering. Must I clean? Yes, I'm captain of the rules. Funny. Did you already cover kashering a microwave? I did. Which Stephen is that? Stephen, wake up. I did. And it's in the file. It's in the thing. You have to leave it for 24 hours. The hardest part is remembering. So put a piece of tape that says Sunday morning, 8:15, stopped using it. Monday morning, 8:15, you can kasher it. The biggest problem is forgetting and using it. So I always say put something on it so you'll remember. Cover it. Do anything you want, but mark the time when you started your 24 hours. That's the hardest part. And it says in there how to do it. You put a cup of water, you put it on. It's in the file. It's very clearly laid out in the file. All right, my friends, let's see what else we have in that file. That's what I love about the file. I don't have to remember. It's all in there. Oh, no, that was wrong. That's not what I was looking for. Let's try again. Share, file manager, Chrome. What happened to my file? 1 second. Give me a second. I got to find it again. It disappeared on me. Just a moment. This we don't need. This we don't need. This we don't need. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Okay, it was hiding. Okay. We got that. Mixers that have exposed engine part C, Eliza, or vents that allow flour, you really not recommended. Baby utensils. Anybody has a question, you can ask me. It's in your high chair, booster seat. Clean well with the cleaner. Do not use it for 24 hours before Pesach for hot food. That's basically good enough. Coffee makers. So here's the problem. Somebody asked me about coffee makers. If you only used it for unflavored regular coffee, no problem. I only use mine for regular unflavored. But if you use it for decaf or for something that flavor, then what do you say? Wash and clean all parts very well. Run through with just water till water runs clear. Clean the inside of the machine. Honestly, so much work. But I've only used mine with regular unflavored, so I just clean it and run it through and I'm done. But all the information is there. Kashering the rest of your home. Remember, dirt is not chametz. Cleaning for Pesach is not screen cleaning. And this is exactly what everybody said. We assume any food that has fallen on the floor, really behind a bed, desk, or bookcase, is covered by nullification, but you can clean your floor. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you have young children. Remember, you empty your vacuum bag or cylinder, throw away garbage bags that have edible chametz. You can even spritz it with chlorine first and then throw it into a dustbin where nobody's going to take it out of there. I mean, that's done. You've given it away. Is there anything? No, that's it. Hey, we went through 8 pages. What did I not answer? The link to your email? Well, do you? Okay, I can do it. But it's, Sabrina, really, everybody, just look at the buyit.org/Pesach. And I'm sure it's also on the main page, the link. Just go to our Buy It website. It's got to be there. All right, what else? Okay, no problem, Sabrina. What else? What else? What did I not cover, my friends? What are you missing? What do you feel uncomfortable? Comfortable? What feels good? Anything you're missing? Anything you feel like I didn't cover or wasn't clear? I like to be crystal clear.
Did you cover blender?
Did I cover what?
Blender. Like
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's in there. It's in the file. You can look in the file, Moshe. Very clear. But I mean, I can answer if you want to ask me. That's fine too. Again, like some people might put hot chametz in there. It's very possible because you don't think about it. What if you put soup in that had something chametz in it and you ground it up? That's real chametz. David, you have a question?
I do. I thought I once read as recently as last year in regard to the microwave that you could not clean the glass.
We say you can. I'm sure there are people that say you can't. We're good with it.
Oh, you're good with it. Okay. I bought a new one. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, if you buy a new one, that's good too.
Yes, it works.
That also works.
It works.
That works too, but you don't have to. What else? Thank you, Eliza. I like those thumbs up. Just so I know people understand and follow. What else? Questions? Jeffrey, Juliet, questions?
No, we are good.
You're good? Amazing. Good is good. Mariana.
Me too.
You're good? You've been through this before. It's not your first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels good to.
A refresher course. That's all. It's great.
Party, what is it? I don't know this thing for it. Robert, questions?
Well, I'm reminded that before Pesach, we all declare that whatever chametz we might have not seen or found, we declare it null and void.
Correct. But that really only works, really, if you clean. Like you have to at least put your chametz away, right?
Yeah. There's a great example of this. My friend um, used to be at Hebrew Institute, and then they made Aliyah. The first night of Pesach, I'm at the house, and Joel sits down and he opens up the book, and there's a huge piece of challah in there.
Wow. See, somebody asked about books. That is really unusual. Who puts a piece of challah in a book?
His kids are studying to recite the 4 questions, and there's this huge, a huge piece of challah. So Joel just quickly grabbed it, closed it, and put it aside. And he says, like, "Oh, no one saw that, did they?"
So, okay, I actually think that's a great example because I said you don't have to look books because places that you don't think will have. You can't like looking through every book. I used to do that as a kid. It took me so many hours. My father had so many books for him. Like we just made a rule in my house, like don't eat crumbs. I've never heard a story like that. But let's say that happens. So what do? You're sorry. You feel bad, right? And you put in a bag. You could spritz it with chlorine. You literally get rid of it that way. You could put it in your compost, close it up, put it in the right. Once you put something in the compost, you don't take it out. That's gross. So, right, that's an option. It can happen, and I believe God understands, right? And I mean, what are you going to do? You did your best. There's only so much we can do. Can't drive yourself crazy. But that is a funny story. Okay, what else? Anybody else? Stephen, you asked. David, you were good. Aliza, you asked. Rebecca Mintz. Rebecca Mintz. Ooh, hello. Any questions? You're good? Great.
What about your car?
Yeah, we spoke about that before you got on. Clean it.
Well, actually, down at the car wash, they seem to have a special before Pesach. I've seen cars there,
Right?
and they're literally emptied out by the personnel. It's not cheap.
What do you
But
mean
they do that
emptied out
also.
by the personnel? What does that mean?
They will empty out your back. Let's say you have an SUV, you have all
Oh,
kinds of
got it.
things, and they
Definitely. You got to clean the car.
It's a Pesach special. Seriously,
It's a Pesach special. Great.
no, that's what they advertise.
That makes sense. Got a lot of kosher Jews here. But you should clean your car, or at the very least, clean it yourself. Like, yeah, somebody should clean the car. But you don't have to clean the dust on the outside. It's just that if you're going to a car wash, you'll clean it. What else? Another question. Michael, you asked all your questions. Anything else? Nancy or Milta, whoever's on. Any questions? Anything I didn't cover? Sabrina, you asked a lot of questions. I'm so glad. I want to make sure this feels good to people. They feel like you got a handle on it, like you know how to do this. People feeling good about it?
Yes,
Amazing.
absolutely.
Amazing. Now you can still ask more questions. You can always ask questions. Like we're good with that. And you can join our Pesach Rabbinic Questions WhatsApp group where other people ask questions as well and you can ask questions. Thank you, Sabrina. So yeah, and please feel free to do that. It's actually really a good way to ask questions because thank you. Good night. It's a good way to ask questions because everybody sees it also. So other people might have the same questions. So all right, my friends, we're good. Thank you for coming on and come back for food and medicine Thursday night.
Okay.
Thank
Hold on.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Good
You're
night.
welcome. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much.
So welcome.